Introduction. Once upon a time, people lived under very difficult circumstances, but much simpler lives in terms of what they were eating. Chronic diseases were not as common because people were constantly active and were busy hunting and gathering for their food. Their nomadic lifestyle and their ability to eat real, fresh food allowed their bodies to stay relatively healthy. They did not have to worry so much about heart disease because, for one thing, they were a bit more focused on getting somewhere safe during the night, but also because the food they ate did not put them at risk for heart disease. Of course, this was all the way back during Paleolithic times. But think about that. At a time where technology and our advanced science was non-existent, the risk of early man suffering from heart disease, experiencing obesity, or a neurological disease was actually lower. While people during that time definitely had their own set of issues, the kind of food they ate was actually not one of them. Now, most of us sit at desks, and the food we eat is not always fresh. In fact, quite often we settle for whatever processed, fast food we can get our hands on. It could be because it is more convenient during our busy day, or because it is more cost-effective. It seems everyone takes part in this at some point during their lives. Whether it is something small, like a Starbucks coffee full of sugars and syrups, the takeout you buy because you simply are not in the mood to cook, or the frozen dinners you pop into the microwave after a long day of work, we have all been there. But now it is time to recognize how seriously harmful that can be and make a positive change for our overall health and happiness. Through time, food changed, our lives changed, and what we required from the world changed. More plagues began to happen, and diseases started to become much more common. Today, there are what seems like an endless amount of illnesses that can befall humans, and intaking the wrong kind of food actually heightens your risk for many diseases. It is not exactly news that eating a diet filled with fast food will increase your risk of diabetes and heart disease, in the same way that we know eating more fruits and vegetables lowers that risk. This information is common knowledge, but sometimes convenience takes precedence over taking care of ourselves. We should not always take the convenient and easy way out. Sometimes, especially when it comes to our health, it is important to embark on the slightly more difficult, but ultimately better road, instead of just doing what we are used to because it is easy. Today, we live in a world that is always changing and advancing, no matter how you look at it. Technology and constantly evolving studies are regularly being used to demonstrate how humans should be living their lives. Almost every year, it seems as though there are new fads, health guidelines, and recommendations on how taking care of your body can improve your ability to live your best possible life. Social media definitely does not make it any easier for us. We are surrounded by influencers who try to sell us diet powders or pills, or get us interested in fads that really do not have much scientific proof behind them. We can worry too much about what we should look like, what we should or should not be eating, or how often we should be exercising. Needless to say, the mixed information can definitely leave us feeling confused, frustrated, and maybe even angry. It can definitely get tiresome for those of us looking to make positive changes to our health and lifestyle, but it does not have to be that way. There should not be a million different rules to follow in order to be a healthy human being. It makes trying to lose weight feel like you are fighting some kind of war. Weight loss can be hard to achieve, especially when you are caught up in a lifestyle that consists of sedentary work, eating out at restaurants, and partying with your friends and family. It can be especially frustrating when you feel as though you are working so hard to achieve those goals by going to the gym, doing a juice cleanse, or cutting out carbohydrates every 2 weeks. But most of the time, it amounts to a quick drop of weight in a short period of time. But then when you start eating normally again, you tend to gain all the weight back. Frustrating, right? Well, weight loss does not have to feel like a battle that you are always losing. In fact, there are a few ways to make your weight loss journey and your overall health condition a much better and more enjoyable journey. For the most part, what is most important in life is to eat meals that are healthy, nutritious, and balanced, and to avoid foods that you know are bad for you. By breaking it down in those simple terms, weight loss won't feel as though you are trying to push a boulder up a hill. Dieting is part of our culture now. There is no way around it. It exists for different reasons, but it's here, whether people want to acknowledge that or not. That being said, there are a ton of diets that do not actually work. They certainly make you lose weight, but most are impossible to maintain long term, or the diets themselves may not work after a certain period of time. They make eating more difficult or physical activity feel impossible because you're already low on energy. Sometimes a diet simply does not fit with your lifestyle, or they result in quick weight loss, but then you can't see any other kind of progress. It can be maddening. Unfortunately, that is what happens with most diets. That being said, there are some diets that are not part of trends or fads and are actually representative of how people used to eat. That is where the paleo diet and intermittent fasting comes in. The paleo diet is a lifestyle that makes healthy eating simple for people undergoing their health journey. It is not designed to make you feel confused, tired, or hungry. Intermittent fasting, combined with the paleo diet, is also one of the best ways to achieve the healthiest possible lifestyle. Both of these processes are guaranteed to leave you healthier and happier and are not a way of life you will want to ditch. Unlike other diet trends, these two have seriously fantastic health benefits that continue even when you reach your desired weight goal. Everything from your heart to your brain to your cells will get the healthy treatment that they are begging for. Let's get into it, shall we? Chapter 1. What is intermittent fasting, IF? Fasting can sound like a scary word, especially if you love food, which, hey, who doesn't? The term fasting on its own can be so intimidating that it makes people immediately shake their heads and turn away from the subject. Why do that to yourself? Why hurt your body that way? Well, the truth is, when done safely, it actually does not hurt your body, and it is not as difficult when you follow the rules for a long period of time. Like most other endeavors, choosing to make something part of your life permanently means it eventually becomes a habit, and your body will become used to it. What's more, when it comes to intermittent fasting, there are a number of ways it helps your health. It can contribute to your weight loss. It has proven to help people lead a healthier life, and it can even help you live longer. It can also help with time management. It forces you to stick to a schedule, stay organized, and you end up having to cook less meals, which means you are cleaning up a lot less. Let's face it, no one likes to clean up after themselves. So if that isn't a huge pro for you, I don't know what is. I bet that all sounds a little like a dream come true, right? Almost a little too good to be true? Well, I promise you it isn't, and I have the evidence to back it up. Before we get into that, though, it is important for you to understand exactly what intermittent fasting is and the different ways you can use it during your health journey. So let us continue on together and learn a little bit more about intermittent fasting and why it is actually beneficial for human beings. What is IF? Much like the paleo diet, intermittent fasting has been around since Paleolithic times, simply because most people during that time were unable to eat whenever they wanted. Because of this, they were often fasting for large parts of the day when they could not find anything to eat. Prehistoric people did not exactly have the luxury of a supermarket. So believe it or not, humans can actually function without food for long periods of time, even though it might not exactly be fun. But don't worry, intermittent fasting is not as scary as it sounds, I promise. It is a term that is used in many diets because these diets include recommended times during the day when you should not be eating anything, That is what intermittent fasting is. It is as simple as that. It is simply placing time restrictions around your eating schedule. It can be very strict, very casual, or somewhere in between, and people modify their practices based on their general needs. There are a lot of different ways people can adjust their intermittent fasting. Some practice it by fasting for 24 hours every second day, or just doing it a few times a week. Of course, one size does not fit all, and some people can't handle not eating for a full day, so they eat only during a 6 or 8 hour window during the day and fast for the remaining hours. That being said, there are 3 methods that are the most common. The 16-8 method. In this process, you are required to fast for 16 hours, and you can eat for 8 hours. So you would ideally skip breakfast and will restrict the time you eat. For example, you could eat between the hours of 1 to 9 p.m., and you would fast for the remaining hours of the day. The 5-2 method. As previously mentioned, you could fast for a full day a few times a week. This method involves any consecutive fasting that lasts a full day or more, and is done 1 or 2 times a week. There are some extreme versions where you can do even more than that, but for the most part, 2 times a week is the maximum. During the fasting days, you are only intaking a maximum of 700 calories, or a percentage of your daily calorie intake. Alternate day method. This kind of fasting is definitely the strictest and involves multiple days a week where you are not eating anything for a full 24-hour period. The 16-8 method is the most common between the 3, as it is the easiest to continue long-term and is also the simplest to follow. It can become a habit far faster than the 5-2 method, for example. Either way, you are definitely reducing your calorie intake, which means you should be experiencing weight loss. Depending on your metabolism and body type, it may take a bit longer to manifest itself than in other people, but it will definitely work. However, since you are eating fewer calories, it is important to make sure that you are still getting enough vitamins and nutrients to keep your body and brain feeling good. Who already practices IF? While intermittent fasting is very common in modern culture, it also existed way back in Paleolithic times. People did not have supermarkets, grocery stores, or delivery trucks to bring them their food whenever they wanted. Men had to hunt, women had to gather, and if there was no food, they did not eat. They also did not have refrigerators and freezers to keep their food fresh. So intermittent fasting was very common and a daily practice for humans before farming took form and allowed people to eat with more regularity. Today, there are plenty of cultures all around the world that practice intermittent fasting for religious reasons. It exists in Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, and so many more. While I will not get into every single religion, we will point out a few ways that some religions incorporate intermittent fasting. Why is this useful information? Simple. So many people are afraid of the term. By understanding that this method is used by millions of people around the world, it makes the concept less frightening for people who are contemplating whether or not they should try intermittent fasting. Let's take a look at Christians. On Good Friday, they abstain from meat, which is their form of intermittent fasting, while others commit to intermittent fasting throughout the entirety of Lent, by either not eating until sundown or eating 2 smaller meals with 1 larger meal. It simply depends on each family's personal traditions as well as what each individual feels comfortable doing for Lent. During Ramadan, most practicing Muslims don't eat or drink from dawn to sunset, leaving a small window of time after sunset to nourish their bodies. It is a very sacred time to them, and they take their fasting very seriously, as they believe it brings them closer to their faith. Because of their stricter policies around their fasting, as opposed to Christians, some Muslims partaking in Ramadan can experience a greater weight loss than Christians do during Lent. However, unlike people who do intermittent fasting regularly, they do experience weight gain when Ramadan is over, which is why it is so important to remember the fact that if you want to keep your weight at a certain level, you have to maintain the paleo diet along with intermittent fasting. Fasting exists in many religions, further proof that this is not some trend that will come and go as most diets do. Intermittent fasting has never been a fad, despite what some people think. It will be around forever. But believe me when I say this is a good thing, because intermittent fasting comes with a ton of positive health benefits. Health benefits. It can be hard to believe, I'm sure, that not eating for a long period of time can actually benefit your health instead of harm it. But the truth is, intermittent fasting comes with a large list of fantastic health benefits. First off, we are going to look at how it affects you on the most basic cellular level. When you are not eating for a number of hours, a lot is going on inside your body to make sure that it is working properly. During intermittent fasting, your body is still working hard at making sure that it is doing everything it can to keep you healthy. This includes going through an important repair process within your cells. Through this process, your cells start to shed their waste, removing the things your body doesn't need. Because of this, your cells, molecules, and genes all strengthen and learn to fight off diseases during this process. The cells will break down, and the proteins that are unusable or damaged will be broken up and removed. This is particularly positive because it may even provide future protection against diseases that have to do largely with cells, such as cancer. Healthline 2016. Because your body is going through a change, it gets triggered to switch how you get your energy. Ketogenesis is what we use to point to an increase of ketones in your bloodstream, which is what speaks to your cells and encourages activity to improve your health. They force your body to go into defense mode to help you fight off metabolic stress and remove and repair damage. Ketogenesis also continues to work while you are eating, still working at keeping inflammation down. This was proven in a 2020 study titled Effects of Intermittent Fasting on Health, Aging, and Disease by Raphael de Cabot and Mark P. Matson in the New England Journal of Medicine. Ketone bodies are not just fuel used during periods of fasting, de Cabot and Matson explained. They are potent signaling molecules with major effects on cell and organ functions. Ellipsis. They continued, repeated exposure to fasting periods results in lasting adaptive responses that confer resistance to subsequent challenges. Page 298. Intermittent fasting also starts to change your hormone levels so it can have better access to the body fat that has been stored away. How does it do that? Well, your level of insulin will drop, but your human growth hormone levels will increase. The same 2020 study by de Cabot and Matson proved that both of these processes make it easier for your body to burn fat while gaining muscle. Your insulin dropping means that your risk for diabetes will lower as well, and diabetes is one of the most common diseases in the world. So if you want to keep those blood sugar levels down, intermittent fasting is a great way to do that. Of course, intermittent fasting is effective for someone who is looking to lose weight. In fact, the process starts to really show itself after about 3 weeks, but can go up to 24 weeks or more, depending on how physically active you are. Sounds like a dream, right? After all, apart from religious reasons, people who choose to do intermittent fasting are often trying to lose weight. So, since you're eating fewer meals and taking longer breaks between meals, the number on the scale is bound to change. Your metabolism rate will increase, boosting it so that your body can work hard to shed everything negative while keeping all the health benefits. This was proven in a study using sets of mice who had different access to food. Some had it for 8 hours of the day, while others had free access to food 24 hours a day. The The mice who had access to food for only a portion of the day ended up losing weight steadily over a period of time, while the mice who had ultimate access all day ended up maintaining their weight. Melville, 2020. Another great health benefit from intermittent fasting is that it helps fight inflammation and lowers something called oxidative stress. I bet you're saying, oxidative stress? Sounds fake. Well, trust me, it is not. It's very real and is actually something that contributes to many chronic diseases. Thankfully, intermittent fasting can help your body resist oxidative stress, and since it lowers inflammation, it will help keep diseases away from your body. Speaking of diseases, let's talk about heart disease. It is one of the most common diseases in the world, and the disease itself can be brought about by so many different factors. Blood sugar levels, blood pressure, cholesterol, and so much more. Since intermittent fasting helps reduce those levels and inflammation, it means that by intermittent fasting, you are actually lowering your risk for heart disease. Grubbs, 2013. Your heart is definitely not the only organ that will end up appreciating you for practicing intermittent fasting. Your brain will be the other major organ wanting to send you a thank you card. As previously mentioned, intermittent fasting reduces inflammation, blood sugar levels, insulin resistance, oxidative stress, and more. Those are all super important for keeping your brain healthy and happy. Your brain will experience an increase of a hormone called BDNF, which is short for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This will lessen the possibility of getting depression. Your brain will literally be a happier brain. Healthline, 2016. Speaking of brains, another health benefit of intermittent fasting is that it may actually help prevent Alzheimer's disease. Yes, seriously. While there has to be a ton of more research in humans to prove this to be the case, studies conducted in rats and mice showed that it is very probable. A smaller study on humans proved that short-term fasts improved symptoms of Alzheimer's disease in 9 out of 10 people, which is astonishing. Bredesen, 2014. All in all, as you can see from the evidence listed above, intermittent fasting can seriously help you live a longer, more fulfilling, and healthier lifestyle. The more you take action to lessen the probability of getting diseases, whether they are diseases of the brain or the body, the more likely you are to increase your lifespan. But how do you make sure that you are getting enough nutrients and vitamins if you are intaking less calories and eating less often during the day? Well, that is where the Paleo diet comes in. Chapter 2. Introducing the Paleo diet. Diet. The word can sometimes bring on feelings of shame, embarrassment, or even annoyance. The question is, why? It certainly does not have to invoke a barrage of negative feelings. And if it is likely because there are so many failed practices that you've tried, or the people around you have tried as well. But it does not have to be that way. In fact, the Paleo diet will leave you feeling the exact opposite. Listen, I get it. We all love food. We all enjoy going out for dinners with our friends on the weekend, having some snacks during the day when we are crazy bored, and getting that soothing ice cream on those hot summer days. It is completely normal, especially when you have been doing it for your entire life. It is pretty much a habit at that point, and it can definitely be hard to break. In life, we also all tend to experience moments where that food and that lifestyle can catch up with us and leave us feeling a bit down. You may want to lose weight, or maybe you just want to get your body to a place where it can feel good, healthy, and leave you feeling confident. That is probably the moment you decided to look into dieting. Most diets, honestly, are a pain. We all know it, even if no one else wants to admit it. They can be hard to follow, have so many rules, and their lists of what you can eat or what you are not allowed to eat can get long and overly complicated. What you started doing so you can feel better about yourself can leave you feeling frustrated beyond all belief. Thankfully, the paleo diet is nothing like that. In fact, it is remarkably easy to follow. If you are having trouble believing me, keep reading to find out how easy and how beneficial to your health it can actually be. What is a paleo diet? So, the paleo diet. It is something that may sound like a trend or something scary, but actually, the paleo diet has been around for so long that it should not even be considered a diet anymore. The paleo diet resembles something much closer to what humans ate during the time when we were hunters and gatherers. The idea behind the diet is to go back even before farming changed the way we eat. Early humans were also much more physically active, ate fresh food, and because of that, had much lower rates of diseases, including heart disease. They just had to worry about getting hunted down by large animals, which, thankfully, will not interfere with your diet journey. Another great thing about the paleo diet is that you do not have to count your calories. It is not about counting your intake, it is about following simple rules that will allow you to eat a great meal, feel good, and stay healthy. You will literally just be eating to optimize your maximum health. It keeps things simple for you. You will not have to rack your brain figuring out what to eat, what is good or not good for you, or what to feel bad about. It also chooses food that you will have easy access to at a grocery store and that is easy to make. So not only does it save your body, it also saves you time. Despite popular belief, the paleo diet will actually leave you feeling full, and if you do it right, you will be full for a longer period of time. Since it is so easy to follow, the idea is that, unlike other diets, you will not be cheating so much since you will be sticking to your intermittent fasting schedule and eating a good mixture of healthy foods. When you eat the right amount of meat, fruit, vegetables, and even carbs, you should not have an issue trying to control yourself during your off hours. Speaking of food, let us get into what you should and should not be eating on the paleo diet. What to eat and what not to eat. Obviously, everyone has different dietary and health needs, and not even the paleo diet is one size fits all. In fact, before anyone goes on any kind of diet, including the paleo diet, they should have a serious discussion with their doctor in case they have any underlying health conditions that need to be addressed. However, for the average human, there are some general guidelines that anyone can follow to make their paleo journey easier to deal with. To break it down, here are some great examples of the kind of food you should and should not be eating. What you should eat. Meat, including fish and seafood, eggs, fruits and veggies, nuts and seeds, herbs, spices, and healthy oils and fats. What you should not eat. Any kind of processed food, refined sugar, soft drinks, grains and dairy, vegetable oil, beans, lentils, and trans fats. It is literally that easy. Basically, if any of your food looks processed in any way, you should not be eating it. So, as much as you might want to grab that bag of popcorn when you go to the movies, you will have to resist. When you see your friends munching on birthday cake, you will have to opt out. It can be hard, but in the long run, it will be far more worth it than you realize. Additionally, anything labeled low fat actually tends to have many other artificial additives, but most people are not aware of that. They take low carb or low fat to mean that it is healthy, but more often than not, that is not actually the case. So make sure that you are not falling for that trick and stick to the fresh food aisles at your local supermarket. It is also very helpful to stay away from soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, and other similar fatty oils. Avoiding dairy will definitely help bring you to your weight loss goal, but there are some instances where you can include cheese in your paleo diet, but that is more of a case-by-case study. Ice cream, however, would be a no-go. So, for example, What would a typical day look like for someone on the paleo diet? It can actually be pretty delicious. Here is a simple example. Breakfast: eggs with a fresh fruit smoothie on the side. In the smoothie, replace juice with water. Lunch: chicken salad full of veggies, simple lemon juice dressing, topped with some nuts of your choice. Snacks: carrot or celery sticks. Dinner: salmon, a side salad, and some broccoli. Some other great options to add to your meals are kale, peppers, avocados, blueberries, bananas, sweet potatoes, nuts and seeds, and so much more. However, if you decide to incorporate intermittent fasting with your paleo diet, you would avoid snacking during the day and instead focus on making sure your breakfast and dinners are filling, healthy, and full of nutrients. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are only human. How can you be expected to give up so much food that you probably love? How could you possibly get together with your friends and not have any of the good stuff? Luckily, there are some indulgences that you can have in small amounts that will hopefully fill that hole you might be feeling in your chest. You can have red wine, since it is full of rich antioxidants, and even dark chocolate. Just make sure you choose one that is 70% or higher in cocoa content. Both of these things are actually even healthy for your heart. That being said, you should definitely not drink a whole bottle in one go, nor should you eat an entire chocolate bar in one sitting. Moderation for both of these is key. Keeping to your paleo diet can even be easy when you go out to eat. You can order meat or fish, skip the rice for vegetables, and pass on dessert or just get a bowl of fruit. See? It does not seem so bad now, does it? Health benefits. So, I've explained what it is, what to eat and what to stay away from. Are you still not convinced? Well, hopefully all these amazing benefits will make you feel differently. First off, let us look at the simplest thing. It will make you lose weight. You are cutting out a ton of things that make your body squirm in the worst ways. Trans fats, caffeine, refined sugar, and more. By removing these items, your body will go through a detox, cleansing itself of all the waste you were intaking. As it turns out, you do not have to drink only juice to go through a detox. The paleo diet works wonders for you in that way. Even if you hate exercise, you will still experience weight loss because the meals that you are eating are more natural and you are disposing of a lot of unhealthy foods you previously were intaking. Let us take a look at what you get from cutting out wheat and gluten. Over the past few years, we have seen a large amount of evidence pointing toward the fact that too much gluten can cause some issues with your digestion and your weight, whether you have a sensitivity to it or not. By cutting out gluten, fast food, and processed foods, you are cutting out a lot of things that are adding to your weight gain or hurting your health. While gluten can hurt your digestive tract, fast food can seriously harm your health in other ways. Fast food and a diet high in processed foods have pointed time and again to a greater risk of heart disease and diabetes. While it can be hard to cut out any or all of the foods that fall under these categories, it is important to recognize that doing so will leave your body feeling far more energized and a lot healthier. In doing all this, you are also cutting out junk food and empty calories. But what are empty calories? Consider beverages that are full of sugar, like energy drinks or juices. They definitely do not have much of a health benefit, and cutting them out and replacing them with water and fresh smoothies will leave you feeling much better. Even your skin will thank you for it, as many sugary drinks are the reason why people still have acne, even as adults. Do you want something to give you some energy, but you do not know what to replace your energy drink with? Easy. Herbal tea. And you can have more than one a day because the benefits are amazing. Eating a paleo diet will also balance out your blood glucose levels, since you will be staying away from refined sugars. This also means that you will be feeling more balanced, since you will not be experiencing the highs and lows that come with eating sugar and then going through a crash. Grubbs, 2013. All this points to one very important thing. You could be preventing your body from experiencing serious diseases. Since you are eating more foods that are full of antioxidants, vitamins, and anti-inflammatory properties, you could be helping your body fight off heart disease and even cancer. Believe it or not, another huge health benefit of the paleo diet is that it actually makes you sleep better. Since you're cutting out things that are high in chemicals and sugar, your brain will get tired naturally and will signal the moment when you are meant to go to sleep. You might even wake up earlier, but only because your body will want to sleep earlier, so you are still getting the right amount of hours that your body and mind need to keep functioning the next day. Grubbs, 2013. These are all good signs and points to your body getting in tune with your food and what works best for optimal performance. Since you are eating a well-balanced meal and getting a normal amount of sleep, at the time you should actually be sleeping, you will feel so much more energized every single day. You will not feel the need to rely on any of your previous sugary or caffeinated drinks to get you through the day. Does that not sound like the greatest thing in the world? Or what? Chapter 3. How Paleo and IF work to help you. So, I walked you through intermittent fasting and paleo diet as individual entities, but now you have to know how to blend the two together. I bet you are wondering how it is done. Will it leave you aching for more food? Will it leave you tired? Will it leave you stressed? The answer is no to all of those questions. First off, before you try intermittent fasting, the easiest thing to do is alter your diet so it resembles the paleo diet, and then work on moving over to the paleo diet altogether. By doing that, you get your body used to a new eating style. Then, once you feel confident about the paleo diet, incorporate intermittent fasting into your lifestyle. That is the best way to move over smoothly to this new journey you want to take. Below, we will get into more advanced ways to make it work for you. Considering how incredibly beneficial the paleo diet and intermittent fasting work on their own, that points to one simple and true fact. The benefits will double if you use them together. As previously mentioned, anyone who decides to start the paleo diet and combine it with intermittent fasting should talk to their doctor. That is the best way to make sure that you start your journey in the safest way possible. How to blend the concepts together. Blending a paleo diet with intermittent fasting is easier than it sounds, and when you start the paleo diet, you will notice that you might have already even been fasting a little without realizing it. During a fast, your cells begin to do their work and will start looking at the stored fat in your body to use as an energy source. For this to work properly, your body needs anywhere between 10 to 18 hours to do its job optimally. More importantly, for this to work properly, you should already be eating something closer to the paleo diet instead of fast or processed foods. Beyond just what you are eating, you should also make sure that before you combine intermittent fasting with the paleo diet, you are already doing a good amount of physical activity and have a great sleeping schedule. The most important way to combine the two processes is to do it slowly for about 2 weeks. No one should dive right into a diet right away. Your body might not take to it well because it will experience shock, making you want to quit. Ease into the process by lowering your carbohydrate intake. After that, you can stop snacking between meals. Don't feel bad if you do a lot of snacking. We all do it. Finally, try moving breakfast later and dinner earlier. Between dinner and breakfast, a good 16 hours should pass in order for your body to work its magic. This entire transition process should span at least a week, 2 if need be. And remember, it is absolutely normal to feel hungry during this process. Your body is trying to get used to something new, and it will take time to adjust to what you need from it. To make your progression as easy as possible, there are some simple things you can do to keep you focused. First off, make sure that you are eating enough during your meals. It's not just about the amount of food you eat, but also about what kind of nutrients you are taking in. Make sure you get enough calories and foods that are high in vitamins and nutrients so your body can remain energized and healthy. Another thing you can do is cook your meals in bulk. With some planning, you can cook enough for a few meals, which means that you will save time in the long run and will not have to think so much about what you are eating daily. This way, there will be no worries about hitting any roadblocks. Katie Melville, who wrote Paleo Intermittent Fasting, How to Get the Benefits of Both Diets, pointed out that another great way that you can try merging your paleo diet with intermittent fasting is by undergoing the Whole30 program during your transition period. For 30 days, you would be avoiding all desserts, grains, legumes, including beans, and dairy, along with a lot of processed and food additives. Whole30 would still require you to eat 3 meals a day, but each meal requires something specific of you and would remove snacking during the day. Each meal would contain 2 or more cups of vegetables, protein, fruit, and a healthy fat that will boost your energy. Healthy fat is what keeps you full between your 3 meals, and the kinds of healthy fats that you should turn to are avocado, nuts, olives, or similar kinds of foods. If you choose to follow this plan, your body will get used to paleo quicker, and then you can start moving your meals to the appropriate times, allowing you to successfully start your journey. Remember, do not be afraid to experiment with your eating windows. Figure out what works best with your lifestyle. Maybe eating between noon and 8 in the evening is better for you than eating from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. What's important is that you find something that fits your lifestyle, but you should make sure that you have not eaten anything at least 3 hours before you go to sleep. Otherwise, your body will have a much harder time working for you in a positive way during the night. Health benefits. As we already showed you in previous chapters, there is a ton of evidence proving how intermittent fasting and a paleo diet work to positively impact your body. For example, a study using mice who had diabetes showed that partaking in intermittent fasting actually ended up improving their ability to protect themselves from diabetic retinopathy, which can lead to blindness. Healthline 2016. It literally proves that you can avoid a condition like blindness. What more do you need to know? There is no need to regurgitate everything this book already told you about how both of these concepts work for your body. That being said, it is important to acknowledge how these two things will work together and leave you feeling like you truly supersized your health in every possible way. Eating a paleo diet and using intermittent fasting will improve your metabolism, effectively making you lose weight, improve your mental health, and lower your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. Both will work together to lower your blood pressure, protect you against neurological disorders, inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and oxidative stress. That being said, if you are on any medications, whether they are for your body or your brain, you should talk to your doctor to make sure that you can partake in a paleo diet mixed with intermittent fasting in a safe and efficient way. If they give you the clear, or if you are not on any medication, it is still essential that you find ways to keep your mind healthy and energized, especially when you're making the transition from your current eating lifestyle to the paleo and intermittent fasting lifestyle. The fact of the matter is, obesity, diabetes, and heart disease are continuously proving to be fatally dangerous for many across the globe. Incorporating the paleo diet and intermittent fasting together is a great way for your body to recognize how to fight those diseases. While alone, they work well enough. Using them both at the same time will allow your body to fight off more at once. Since each method tackles different areas of the body with some overlap, Using them at the same time will allow both processes to cover areas the other could not, effectively resulting in better and healthier results. If you knew there was a way to lessen your chances of getting Alzheimer's or heart disease, would you not want to take it? If there is a way you can dampen your chances of getting diabetes, would you not want to take that chance? The answer should be a resounding yes. We should want to do everything and anything we can to make sure our bodies are functioning normally and in the healthiest way possible, avoiding diseases that can seriously harm or kill us. As proven in the previous chapters, a combination of the paleo diet and intermittent fasting is the way to get this done. Adopting both practices is actually the quickest and the best way for your body to reset itself so that it can allow you to lose weight, give you more energy, put you on a better sleeping schedule, and reduce the risk of disease. Chapter 4. Ways to keep yourself feeling good during your journey. It can be hard to keep any journey up, no matter how healthy it is. Sometimes life gets crazy and you just want to give up and eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, and just have a good time with your friends and family. It is not uncommon, and you also should not feel bad if you go through a time where you experience those feelings. They are valid feelings. But how do you get through those desires without actually acting on them? That can be the hard part. Luckily, there are ways for you to work through those challenging times. Acknowledge them. Talk to a friend that is part of your support system. Or do some of your relaxing practices that will get your mind off things. Even beyond working through those hurdles, there is more to a diet than just what you are eating or how often you are eating. While making those initial changes will definitely allow you to lose weight, there is more you can do to make sure you are achieving your ultimate goals. The paleo diet has always emphasized the importance of physical activity, and intermittent fasting has always emphasized the importance of keeping your mental health strong and making sure you get enough rest. Considering that, it is important for people to listen to their bodies to ensure that they are doing what they can to stay healthy, energized, and in good spirits during the paleo diet and intermittent fasting process. This is especially true at the beginning, when your body may be experiencing stress from the change in lifestyle. Staying active. You were not meant to sit for 8 hours a day. No one was, and the fact that we have adjusted to this lifestyle so readily is not exactly a good thing. Unfortunately, for the most part, it is out of our control. We have jobs that require us to sit all day, and our breaks are not exactly the time we want to spend sweating before we have to get back to work. You would rather eat, grab a coffee, or chat with your friends. I get it. Everyone does. But the fact of the matter is, this sedentary lifestyle that we are all so used to is damaging us. It is bad for your heart, your metabolism, and even your mental health. Physical activity is one of the most important things you can do to keep your body feeling healthy. Many people often ditch the physical activity needed in their lives simply because life gets messy, busy, and oftentimes, when you finish an 8-hour workday, you just want to go home and relax. But if you were sitting all day, the need for you to move your body before or after work is so important. This holds true even when you decide to start the paleo diet and intermittent fasting. It may sound impossible. How could you possibly be expected to be active while you are undergoing something like intermittent fasting? Well, remember, all the health benefits I've pointed out to you actually prove that you should have more energy, not less, since you are cutting out harmful foods and drinks. Sure, it may start out as something minorly stressful, but after a few weeks, you will notice the change of energy in your body. But the point is, we all know that any healthy lifestyle is balanced not just with food, but with how physically active you are. The good news, though, is that there is also no need for you to go to the gym for 5 hours for you to get your body feeling right. You can do anything from going for walks, get those 10,000 steps in, to doing yoga once a week with some light weights on the side. Do what fits your lifestyle best, but make sure you are doing something. It will definitely make you feel a lot better, and physical activity has been proven to improve people's moods. There is not a singular way to approach fitness during a paleo diet and intermittent fasting. In general, the idea is to achieve natural movement as much as possible, and if you're outside, that is even better. Machine-based exercises are also helpful, but cardiovascular health is more important to your well-being than gaining muscle, which is why something like a brisk walk or swimming tend to be the perfect exercises. However, it is just as important to rest and recover as it is to work out. If all you are doing is working out and restricting your eating, it may backfire on you, adding stress to your body and brain. But resting doesn't mean doing absolutely nothing but watching television. Rest from the gym or more intense physical workouts means that you are resting from intensity, not that you shouldn't be moving at all. Instead, go for slower walks around the block, or try going on a bike ride to the store instead of taking your car. Transitioning from a hard workout to doing absolutely nothing for 24 hours isn't exactly a good way of achieving balance. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Balance is everything, even for physical activity. Whether you are doing the paleo diet along with intermittent fasting because you want to lose weight or gain muscle, either way, you have to make sure that you do it in a safe and healthy manner. If you are training, make sure you do not overdo it. It is also important to make sure that you are not fasting for a full day multiple times a week if you decide to do a lot of physical activity. Balance is key. All of the tips that are about to be shared with you hold true whether you are going on a new eating journey or not. Taking care of your mind will transfer to taking care of your body, making the entire process even easier for you to deal with. Sleeping. As mentioned above, even when you incorporate working out into your diet plan, resting is just as important. Dieting and exercise should not equal a painful, vicious cycle of working out more so you can eat more. Rest days are important to give your muscles time to recover so that your body does not go through any stressful period. More exercise does not always mean a better body. If you do not do it right, it will not work for you. But the ultimate resting schedule and the most important? Sleep. Plain and simple, sleeping is so important. This can't be stressed enough. Sleep is everything, and not just because we all love to get cozy in our beds at night. Without enough sleep, your brain will have trouble working during the day to the point where not even that cup of coffee you love so much will help. Getting a proper amount of sleep even helps your body fight off diseases. Yes, this is actually true. Plus, for those who suffer from mental illness, a good night's sleep is just what the doctor will recommend to you instead of staying up late and burning your eyes with endless amounts of screen time. That ultimately helps no one. The paleo diet and intermittent fasting are both around for you to help your body learn to listen to its own circadian rhythm. Make sure you listen to what your body is asking of you. It is speaking to you for a reason. Adults need at least 7 hours of sleep to allow their bodily functions, including their brain, to work properly. Sleep deprivation can lead to everything from mood shifts to even deepening your anxiety. So, is it after 9 and you are starting to feel tired? Go to bed. Turn off the television and close your eyes. Your body is asking you for something and you should do it. It will only leave you feeling rested and healthy for the next day. Keeping your mind healthy. Depression can kill as many people as a chronic illness. It is no joke and should never be treated as such. You should be taking special care of your mental health, whether you are on a diet or not, but should pay special close attention during the beginning of your paleo and intermittent fasting journey. Starting off slowly instead of crashing right away into the new lifestyle will allow your mental health to stay stable, avoiding any stressful situations and frustrations. Even though both of these things will help your brain and body feel healthier, It is, of course, so important to manage your stress and anxiety. The good thing is, there are so many ways to do that. Whether you decide to kick back with a good book, practice yoga, or decide to book that therapy appointment, you should always make sure that you are in your best possible mental state. Plus, as our two main points above point out, being physically active and sleeping well will actually help your mental health. Through physical activity, your brain will release endorphins that leave you feeling rewarded. Through sleep, your brain will feel rested and relaxed. Those two things will both help your mental health stabilize and help fight off depression and anxiety. Having a good support system. A large part of your mental health is attributed to the people around you. Sure, it is your mental health, which means that you have to take special care of your brain and its needs, but if the people around you are toxic rather than supportive, that will seriously harm your mental health. It may sound like a no-brainer, but the truth is many people overlook how important it is to have a good support system in their life when they go through a new diet change. Some people in your life may not approve of a new diet or of your fasting, but you should make sure to find some people who support your decision and are willing to encourage you throughout your journey. After all, when you go out to eat with your friends, you do not really want to be around people who are trying to force you to break your diet. It is important to have people who respect your dedication and are constantly encouraging you to continue your journey. Sometimes they might even be well-intentioned and really do not mean to put you down. Maybe they really are just looking out for you. But you know what is best for you, and it's best to make sure your friends support and respect that decision. Another great way you can build a support system around you is by including them in your journey. Maybe consider even asking one of your friends to do some yoga with you, or get in some of your steps together. Any little bit of support will make a world of difference in the long run and will also help alleviate any stress you have going on in your life. Conclusion. Listen, Paleolithic people had a lot of problems. Between trying not to get eaten or mauled to death by predators and gathering enough food to feed their families, all while trying to stay alive during horrible weather conditions, they definitely did not have it easy. But one thing they were doing right, and maybe without even knowing just how right, were their eating habits. As proven throughout the entirety of this book, eating less throughout the day and cutting out all processed foods and refined sugars drastically improves long-term health. It is impossible to ignore. Very obviously, humans have come a long way since Paleolithic times, and because of that, we have access to so much more food. Of course, that doesn't mean that we should be intaking everything we do. The golden rule that you should keep in mind is, just because you could, that does not mean that you should. Besides, there is ultimately no benefit whatsoever from picking up fast food, other than the fact that it is time-saving. It will leave you feeling sluggish, oftentimes still hungry, and is damaging to your overall health. Why do that to yourself? Now that the evidence has been presented to you, you should want to give yourself the opportunity to reset your body, detox it, and make your way to a healthier and happier lifestyle. Of course, it is easier said than done, right? Any new major lifestyle change takes some time to get used to, which is why I will stress once more, take your time. Do not jump the gun. Do not make any huge changes right away. The slower you go, the better chance you have of making intermittent fasting and paleo work for you. More importantly, it will give you a better chance of success. You don't want to quit a month in, do you? It has been said 1,000 times, and it will be said 1,000 times more. Dieting is not easy. Losing weight is not easy. Fasting is not easy. But all of these things do not have to be so frustratingly difficult that you want to give up almost immediately. Now that you have learned how simple and easy the paleo diet and intermittent fasting can be, you should feel confident in knowing that you can achieve your goals while using these practices. The journey to living your best and healthiest life will not be completely effortless. In fact, at the beginning, you may even hate it. But it is a lot more doable than you think if you really put your mind to it. Having a support system to offer encouragement will definitely help you stay motivated to achieve your goals. You can even look to a nutritionist for some guidance on how to plan your meals. Stay away from negativity, from people who discourage you, and unfollow those influencers on Instagram who are trying to sell you things that simply will not work. They are not trained or certified to sell you the products that they are endorsing. Most of the time, you do not even really know what is in the concoctions they are trying to sell you. It's like taking health advice from your banker. You have to remember that most of these people are getting paid to sell you these items and are not actually looking out for what best suits your needs. Even with paleo and intermittent fasting, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So that definitely holds true for all these so-called natural products that people will try to sell you. Keep it basic. Keep it paleo. If you think your body and your mind are able to handle these easy changes to your lifestyle, then this is your sign to get started. If you try hard, you can definitely make the paleo diet and intermittent fasting combination work for you. It is time to get back to the basics and simply eat fresh foods with no added preservatives and get your body back to its healthiest state. Dieting does not actually have to feel like a diet. It can just be about making changes to your body, ridding yourself of harmful content, and replacing it with food that you should have been eating in the first place. It can be about losing weight, sure, but it can also be about making sure that you are fighting off harmful illnesses and reworking your cells so they can do their job more efficiently. Plus, who knows? Maybe once your friends and family start to see how much healthier and happier you are, not to mention how great you look, they will want to jump on the paleo and intermittent fasting train themselves. Wouldn't that be so fulfilling to you? Not only would you have made a positive change in your own life, but you will be helping others around you get back to a healthier state, improving their own chances of looking good, feeling good, and fighting off diseases. What could possibly be better than that? So, go into your next journey feeling alive, energized, and ready to rumble. Make your shopping lists, decide how you want to work out, and develop a hardcore meal plan that you will stick to without trouble. It's time to get started. Let's go!